cogent critique.
Hey guys, stick around for this video and you will find out why your turd local politicians and federal politicians, but especially your local politicians actually, have absolutely no interest in actually lowering the cost of housing in your community, even though they all say they do. They all say we're in a housing crisis. They don't care. Let me explain why. Take a look at this chart here, guys. It shows the aggregate property tax based on the Zillow Home Value Index. You'll notice that the more that home values go up and property values, which is directly related to how much they can be rented for, the higher the property tax numbers are. And you'll notice we're approaching $350 billion if we haven't already exceeded that. We likely have, because this was done by the National Bureau of Economic Research and is now dated. But the point is, they don't benefit at all, that is the government, by having lower property costs. That is to fund all of these bureaucracies and all of these government programs and all of these extremely well-paid bureaucrats. Basically, you pay your rent to the landlord every month, and guess what? The landlord has to pay property taxes. So you're indirectly paying this secondary landlord, basically the landlord of your landlord, the ultimate landlord, your government. So despite never higher prices, go ahead and take a look at this chart that shows you the average cost of housing versus income, and look how far it's come. And look what a disaster this has been even since the virus. It's not going to get any better. That's just because private interests are in bed together with public officials and bureaucracy. In fact, our whole system is largely predicated on this ever-increasing housing debacle and crisis. Almost like a house of cards that could come collapsing down at any time. However, unfortunately, it did come collapsing down in 2008 and 9. And instead of allowing foreclosures to happen like they should have, which would have brought inexpensive and cheap housing onto the market, you know what our government did? They handed out billions of dollars to the banks and said, here you go. And so all of these homes remained on the market longer than they should have, largely unoccupied. This is also why it makes me laugh. I don't want to get this into an argument about isms, but when people say this is capitalism, this is not capitalism. This is the government in bed with private enterprise in such a way that not only fits the politicians and bureaucrats to line their pockets, paying all kinds of people that you don't give a shit about. Like, take a look at this ludicrous salary here in King County, which is Seattle. The Homeless Authority CEO salary is $290,000. This gal here, this Kelly Kinnison. Former CEO Mark Dones made $247,200 hired this year, and the new CEO Kelly Kinnison is being paid $290,000. And by the way, this article is a couple years old, so I'm sure she's getting even more than that. But the shocking part is that public officials should not be there to make a lot of money. They should be there to, I'm not saying they should be starving or anything like that, but the primary purpose of a public servant is to serve the public. And the thing is these bureaucracies are full of this. Harris County has $270 million deficit and America's highest paid bureaucrats. Despite facing nearly $270 million budget deficit, it turns out Harris County has some of the highest paid government employees in the country, including 9 that make more than $400,000 a year. That the president makes. So yeah, the Harris County has bureaucrats that make more than the salary of the president of the United States. And I can't imagine that the day-to-day duties are much more difficult than what the president is doing day-to-day. But this is what I mean about the local corruption. So why would these bureaucrats be at all interested in having the cost of housing go down when this directly affects the tax revenue brought in from the property taxes? Basically, the government is your second landlord. But on top of that, the landlords get their cut too. So you have 2 of these landlords sucking off of the people, basically the system and the landlords directly. So is it going to get any better? Probably not. We might have small moments of respite like 2008 and 9, but as far as the long-term trend getting better, not going to happen, guys. Sorry. So as you can see, guys, the system wants housing to go up forever. It does not give a shit about you. It's a merciless system of greed, like many things in this country, that does not care about you being able to afford a house. It only cares about getting more money for everyone in the establishment, i.e. banks, insurance companies, bureaucracy, politicians, and government. You know, it's crazy. We've been able to launch a James Webb Space Telescope millions of miles away, and we know about exoplanets light years away, but somehow we can't solve this housing crisis. It's just a conundrum. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this at all, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.